Hello and welcome back to Planet Nibiru, where anything is possible. This video brought to you by dialplate.org, the automotive phone book. So sometimes on this channel we run across things that are hard to explain. We have some bit of evidence like a video clip or a picture, and we spend hours wondering what it is or how it got there. But when we find things like the ones we're going to discuss today that we have tons of information on, these things have been researched by actual scientists with all of the proper equipment and still cannot be explained. These anomalies defy any explanation, and all we have are the theories and the stories that are attached to them. So let's take a look at these earthbound anomalies that science just can't explain. The Devil's Kettle Waterfall is located in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. A beautiful state with a Midwest tradition that dates back to the push west when settlers came to find their fortune or to just eke out a living in the plains of the Midwest. When they got there, they found this strange waterfall. This waterfall is unique because there are two sides to it, and the water on the east side flows normally. We can see exactly where it leads, and the water makes its way all the way to the mighty Mississippi River. The water flowing on the west side, however, leads to a pothole of sorts and then seems to just disappear. And no one knows where this water flows. It's like it really does just disappear. Multiple experiments have sought to find this out. Colored and magnetic dyes were poured into the water in efforts to trace it, but the dyed water was never found. Traceable objects like magnets and GPS trackers were dropped into the water flowing into the kettle, but after they disappeared, they were never found again. This type of research has been going on for almost 50 years, with universities and scientists trying in vain to find out where the water goes. As of yet, there is no scientific explanation. Some folks associate the kettle with supernatural, believing that water is transported to a parallel universe or even to hell itself. Others believe it's a gateway that will transport them to the center of the earth, to the mythical Shambhala, or the world within the world. What do you think? Deep in Siberia is a rock formation completely unlike the area surrounding it. Scientists have only been aware of its existence since 1949, but local Siberians have known about the crater for much longer than that. To them, it's known as a place of evil. They say that any living creature should avoid it or risk dying from contact with the area and the formation. It's a rock formation in the middle of a dense forest, yet no tree grows on it. Many call it a crater despite its obvious shape being kind of the reverse of a crater, swelling up and out rather than down and in. The lush forest surrounding it is full of wildlife of all manner and growth, yet on the hill and crater nothing grows and animals are never seen. It's called Fire Eagle Nest, and locals avoid the general area totally. People who visit the crater often report feeling more drained of energy the closer they get, and some even feel sick long after leaving. In 2005, the leader of an expedition to the crater died of a heart attack immediately upon reaching the area, after complaining of weakness and lightheadedness on the way there. Local Siberians saw this as a confirmation of its evil nature. It's unknown what originally caused the crater. A meteorite was suggested, but has been largely ruled out by geologists and scientists because they can find no fragments. They know it's only a few hundred years old, and they also know that the trees in the area show accelerated growth, much like those affected by the Chernobyl disaster. Some use this data to claim that the crater was formed by a UFO landing there long ago. But of course, no one knows that for sure. Now, what do you think could cause such a strange anomaly? The Bermuda Triangle is not our planet's only mysterious triangle. Another one is the Devil's Sea, a triangle-shaped danger zone between Japan and the Philippines where all kinds of strange sea phenomena happen. There are commonalities between this triangle and the Bermuda Triangle. They both have very unpredictable weather, and the area is always dangerous at all times. It aligns perfectly with the Bermuda Triangle, leading some to think that they are in some way related or connected. Both have very similar strange occurrences. They're both prone to sudden and severe weather changes. They both have strange magnetic anomalies that are associated with them. And of course, they're both quite deadly. For centuries, ships and airplanes have been known to disappear in the Devil's Sea. At one time, it was said that an underwater dragon destroys any ships that passed over. Today, people wonder if some type of magnetic anomaly could be behind the disappearances of the ships and airplanes. After the Second World War, multiple vessels disappeared there. Soon after, the Japanese government sent a research ship in the area to investigate the triangle. But that research ship was soon lost in the triangle as well. It was later rediscovered on the ocean's floor with the entire crew missing. Their fate is unknown, and the Devil's Sea has since been labeled a danger zone by several local governments, with dozens of people entering and never returning. Do you think this is a natural phenomenon, or do you think there is something more at work here? The Amazon rainforest is one of the most remote and unexplored places on Earth. It is riddled with danger and adventure for anyone brave enough to enter. The stories that come from explorers and locals alike range from exciting and interesting to strange and downright impossible. The Amazon is home to rare plants, endangered birds, and lost tribes. And it's said that even the children of Nazi war criminals live here, like some type of deranged monkey people, according to the local lore. But it's also home to a boiling river that kills anything that enters it. In the Amazon, a story of a boiling river is actually pretty mundane compared to some of the other stories of giant spiders, giant lizards, giant snakes. But if you enter the Peruvian Amazon, you may be told a strange legend by locals that describes gold-obsessed Spanish explorers who entered the Amazon a couple centuries ago. They started out in a large group, but only a handful returned, telling tales of a deadly river that boiled from below, killing man and beast alike. This story and many others like it are quite common in the region, as so many explorers have come to the rainforest to look for gold and treasure, only to meet their end in so many gruesome ways. Until recently, the boiling river was thought to be nothing more than a legend. But we now know that such a river does indeed exist, and it is hot enough to kill any human at over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The water gives off steam as it flows through the Amazon. This deadly river is seen as sacred by the locals, but it's unknown even to this day what makes the river so hot. When it was officially found and researched, scientists and geologists could not find the reason why the water was boiling. To this day, it remains one of the many mysteries of the Amazon. Fairy circles are loosely defined as patches of land where no plant life exists or will grow. They are found all over the world, and the name is rooted in Celtic lore, where it's said that they are a doorway to the land of the Fae, or the home of the fairies. Most have a clear circular appearance, and the most famous fairy circles are in Namibia, specifically in the Namib Desert, where millions of these can be found. With so many circles, it might shock you to know that what causes these circles is unknown. Multiple explanations have been put forward, but none have been accepted by science, leaving the origin of these circles as unknown officially. Local legends and lore provide multiple answers for what they believe it might be, and they're often said to be the footprints of the gods who walked on Earth freely in ancient times, or that a dragon once terrorized the area and his poisonous breath left patches of the ground forever uninhabitable to any type of growth. In the absence of any scientific theory that can be applied, what do you think leaves these circles so barren? Deep in the Norwegian wilderness is a valley that is known for its light phenomenon. All kinds of unexplained lights have been witnessed appearing in the sky at all times of the day and night. The lights range from large flashes to small circles or orbs, sometimes in groups and sometimes alone. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to these lights, just that they appear randomly and do not seem to follow any specific pattern. The lights have been clearly observed and measured scientifically by witnesses from all walks of life. Police, farmers, scientists, researchers, UFO enthusiasts have all seen them, but what causes these lights is still a complete mystery. They continue to appear randomly, and with all the efforts that have been put into finding their source, they've still come up empty-handed. The lights act in as many different ways as they appear. Some split into smaller lights or move across the sky at unbelievable speed. Some are very, very slow and cause people to believe they are UFOs. And they've even had crop circles that are found in the area. Across the valley, after many of the appearances of the lights, folks find these crop circles. Again, it's unknown what causes these circles or the lights, but the circles appear in pristine, undisturbed areas in snow during winter and in fields during the summer and spring months. Locals are perplexed as to how someone could have gotten into the area without leaving any traces in the snow. Even if they flew in and out, there would have been no way they could have made the markings without leaving some trace that they were there. These lights now appear less than 20 times per year, which is about 50 times less frequent than it once was. At the height of their frequency, they appeared well over 100 times a year, making the likeliness of seeing them quite good for anyone who traveled to the area. It's also unknown why they are decreasing, or what caused them in the first place. So what do you think that could be causing these strange lights? In the Baltic territory of Russia, there's a place known as the Dancing Forest. It's not a place where folks come to dance or a place that you can learn how to dance between the trees. The trees here are distorted and twisted into such unique shapes that it looks as if though they were actually dancing. As if they're caught in the middle of a foxtrot or a mambo and frozen to hide their playtime, the trees sit now motionless, frozen in their twisted state for all to see. These trees were planted in the 1960s as part of a reforestation program, but those who planted them were not expecting this, and no one knows for sure why they have grown into such unusual shapes. Although some claim magic is to blame, they say that long ago the area was home to an older forest that was frequented by witches who used black magic to make the trees dance. They say that these effects of the magic are still there, and that is what makes these trees grow in such twisted forms. The forest has been a destination for some groups who practice witchcraft, who visit the forest and perform rites and rituals dedicated to celebrating the earth and dance. Others who practice witchcraft say the area is full of good energy and they can feel it when they enter. Some folks even climb through the rings of the twisted trees believing that it will grant them a wish. Though none have claimed to have had their wish come true yet, what do you think is making these trees dance so oddly? Finally, we have the Zone of Silence. There's a place in Mexico known as the Zone of Silence. All radio signals fail within this zone, and there are many other anomalies there as well. It's a 50-kilometer patch of desert that's been considered eerie for decades, with some believing that the lack of signal has something to do with the numerous meteorites that crashed in the area in 1970. 2 meteorites even landed on the same ranch, which is very uncommon to say the least. Later that year, NASA was testing a new missile system, and one of those test flights went over this area. Needless to say, the missile went down because all control was lost. The missile landed very close to the ranch where the 2 meteorites landed earlier that year. Local legends say a strange energy emits from the ground, pulling all objects down from the sky. Of course, this would explain the missile falling out of the sky, and maybe even the meteorites. Others say that they have a strange tingling feeling when they're in the area, and many other folks report feeling dizziness, lightheadedness, and even euphoria. Mutilated animals have often been found within the zone, and both wild and domestic animals behave very strangely when they're there. Research continues even now through several universities in Mexico and the United States as to what is the cause of these strange occurrences. So what do you think is causing these anomalies in the Zone of Silence? These anomalies from around the world just go to show that science is not as advanced as many think it is. Humans sometimes think that we understand and know just about everything, when in fact, we know very, very little. And even when we have the opportunity to research and study things for as long as we'd like, we still cannot explain certain things. This humbles us and lets us know that even though we may be the most intelligent life form on this planet, we aren't as smart as we sometimes think we are. Some things may never be explained, and that makes life a little bit more interesting in many ways. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you guys in the next video.